I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Jonny Smith.
And this is Smith and Sniff on the other side of things, in which we answer questions from a live audience.
Right.
You know, sometimes when you're in slightly too high a gear in a car and it just bogs down a little bit and then it kind of catches and comes back on cam. I feel like I did that in that intro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just went off cam for a little bit.
Did you try and pull away in second?
Yeah.
It didn't quite work.
Yeah, engine mounts were juddering a bit. Okay, got away with it, but yeah, not my best work.
I got a question from Jonny Smith.
Okay.
He says... It's okay, it's not going to be very funny, it's just housekeeping. He says, stop sending us DMs on Instagram.
Oh.
They're all good, but just tag us in on a message that you've already made, because it makes our life easier. The end.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
That really was housekeeping?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Just housekeeping.
Yeah.
We love it, being tagged into stuff. But if you just send me a private photo with a really long explanation, I've basically got to save it all, copy it, email it to myself, upload it, and then rather you could just put it out there and tag us in.
Jonny looks after our Instagram account for the most part, but I went in the other day for some reason and then saw, we've got messages. I looked in there and it immediately gave me a headache.
It's big in there.
There's so many. It's overwhelming.
It's big in there.
I see your point. Anyway, look, we are here to answer questions. So who has a question for us?
We've got a roving mic.
Do we get to pick? We've got roving mic people. So got a chap there on the end because it's near a microphone.
Hello, this is actually my third Otosot. We're on the first question as well.
Bloody hell.
I know, it's amazing. We've heard your story of going to press events and getting gifts, like the big plate for the Ford Mondeo.
Oh, yeah. It's a good plate, it was.
Do you know of any really random or obscure promotional material that was actually given out to customers or punters? Because I actually have a couple of gifts for you. It's, you're not going to believe this, it's 2 Honda Civic Tourer stress balls.
What?
I'll pass the mic back while you mull over the question, and then you can have the...
A Honda Civic stress ball?
Yeah. I would say quite a low-stress car, really.
Very low-stress car. Maybe that's the point. It's just bringing you down.
Oh, my God. Oh, they're shaped like Honda Civic Tourers.
Wow. Thank you very much. Oh, it's a Tourer, yeah. The lesser... Squeeze me, drive me.
That doesn't quite make sense.
No, it does say it on the bottom. Yeah, that was girlfriend number 3. Don't talk about that. No, squeeze me, comma, drive me. Test drive the new Honda Civic Tourer. Now. Brilliant.
Now.
Yeah, now or else. I love it.
Don't make it anymore. What am I going to do?
I like the Tourer. It sort of came and went, didn't it, really?
It's quite a good... I seem to remember that Matt Pryor from Autocar, who co-presents the Autocar podcast, in fact, and listens to this. Hi, Matt.
He's a sweet guy. He is an SSG, actually, yeah.
I think it was Matt that described the Jaguar E-Pace as looking like a stress toy version of the F-Pace.
Yes.
And Jaguar were quite cross about this. But that just looks like the real car. It's very
That's
good.
really nice.
To answer your question, random promotional things for customers, I think there's probably loads of them. But I can't summon any to mind. There was one, I only know this because it was in one of my boring car trivia books, which was that in the 80s, Austin Rover did 2 mini special editions, the Red Hot and the Jet Black.
Yes.
And to promote this, if you went to a Mini or to an Austin Rover showroom and said, I'm kind of interested in these minis, they went, why don't you have a cassette tape? And side 1 was Red Hot and side 2 was Jet Black. And I can't remember what songs were. They were actual proper songs. It wasn't just like, the Austin Rover Orchestra or something. Although I would have liked to hear that. But yeah, they gave a promotional cassette away, and then they realised that, in fact, neither the Mini Red Hot nor Jet Black came with a cassette player as standard. So if you went ahead and pulled the trigger on one of those cars, you couldn't play the tape they'd just given you. So...
Oh, my gosh, that's so...
If you bought the car, I think you then got to write to them, and they'd send you, like, a radio cassette player or something for your house instead. Phew, got away with that one.
I mean, that's just weird.
I know. It was the 80s. It was Austin Rover.
I got given You've reminded me because of this stress toy in the shape of an estate car. I got given a Honda alarm clock, digital alarm clock once.
Mm.
Yeah, but I could, weirdly, very un-Honda, I couldn't get it to work properly. I think I've still got it because it looks so cool, but I've never trusted it or really got it to function. So
I once went to a Jaguar event at Bedford Autodrome, and they did timed laps in XKRs and then those Palmer Sport cars that had Jag V6s in them. And to everyone's surprise, most of all mine, I came second in the timed laps. And my prize was a Jaguar pen.
fantastic.
I looked it up afterwards. It was quite expensive. And it broke almost immediately. So that was good. Do we have another question?
We've got loads.
I'm going to go this side of the room. Lady there. Streetwise lady.
Yeah.
Rover Streetwise lady.
For people listening at home, we have established that this member of the audience owns a Rover Streetwise. We're not just calling
In
it
yellow.
Streetwise.
In yellow.
In yellow, one of only 3 in Britain. True
Yes.
facts.
Right, now, listen.
Look.
Hey, guys.
Can you do that again? So it's guys, swollen pause, look, swollen pause, listen. And then optionally, here's the saga. It's entirely up to you.
On that side of things.
Ooh,
You're so much better than we are. Shit.
added a flourish there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm with my dad, who, if you were listening to the previous podcast, did the peacock call.
Yeah, very good it was.
Yeah.
And he has got me into all of this like, car stuff. He brought me up loving cars and Rovers and Land Rovers and everything British. Everything Anyway.
Round of applause.
Anyway. Richard, you may know about the pianos being dropping on marinas and people would write in
Yes.
complaining.
Yes.
My dad was one of those people who would write
Oh.
complain.
Were you?
I was indeed. I think Mr. Clarkson got fed up with me writing emails to the BBC. As a result, things took a turn. I had a major birthday. This was some years ago now.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine said, I've been in touch with somebody I know who works at the BBC, and it would appear that you're getting a birthday present. So, consequently, I received this, which is a Morris Marina model with a piano wedged in the roof,
That's fantastic.
on which it says, and I quote, Morris Marina Top Gear Special Edition, together with, hold that please, Katie, this card, which comes from the man himself. It says, happy birthday, Martin. I hope you like the car. Jeremy Clarkson.
No way.
No way.
That's
Didn't know anything
brilliant.
about that.
Just to give you some idea how long ago that was.
You said a major birthday, so I'm thinking Campbell.
Yeah, water pump.
Yeah, water pump while you're there, you
I
know.
was 50 at the time and I'm now 66, so it tells you
Oh.
how long ago it was.
Fantastic.
But yes.
So yes, the question is, do you know of anyone else who received a similar treatment of receiving this said, like, gifts?
I am not aware of anyone else, but I would have to ask. But no, I don't. I genuinely don't. This is all news to me, so no.
That's really impressive.
We can bring it up and show you in a bit if you want.
I'd like to see it. I was reminded earlier this week of something I'd completely forgotten about, that saga of pianos being dropped on marinas, because it's not the work of a moment to drop a piano on a car, surprisingly, particularly if you're complying with sort of health and safety rules. So we had a company that would come in and do it for us. And I'd completely forgotten that they came in once and they rigged up the piano on a crane with a sort of pyro release or something like that. And they were like, yeah, everything's there. And they, by the way, this company were quite expensive. It cost a lot of money to do that nonsense. And they spent ages fiddling around with their crane and things and positioning everything. And they went, all right, we're ready to go. And we went, okay, so cameras are all ready. Here we go. Right, 3, 2, 1, piano missed the car. And it's quite a nuisance having to source another piano at short notice because the stunt company have got their maths wrong. But you'd have been delighted. Maybe it was you. It was you. You moved the car.
And at the time, I actually bought a 1.3 Morris Marina coupe for 200 quid off eBay. And we got an ex-prototype 5-litre AJ133, 550 horsepower Jaguar prototype that had been used for setting a world record in the States at top speed. And the then chief engineer Ron Lee said to our boys in engine calibration, we must give it a Christian amount of horsepower. This engine famously ended up in the 760 or the little Jaguar XE limited edition four-wheel drive with over 600 brake horsepower.
Yeah.
We were making a nice space race, put this whole engine, transmission, or suspension into a marina shell. And Ron Lee was up for it, and we were going to challenge Mr. Clarkson to let Steve drive down the track. And if he went down faster than the Mercedes Black he had at the time, we were going to organise dropping a piano on his Merc.
Oh.
Sadly, however, health and safety got involved and said this wasn't a good idea and scotched the plan.
Damn it.
So
This
the
is
Marina's
great.
still sat in the garage and I don't have the engine anymore.
You've still got the Marina Coupe?
I've still got the Marina, yeah.
That's worth 400 quid now.
Yeah. Bear in mind, it was the performance model, it wasn't 1.3.
I've just remembered I've got that piano I'm trying to get rid of.
You have? He genuinely has got a shit old piano.
Anyway, these two things are unconnected. Who has got a question for us? Maybe someone towards the
middle.
Middle's tricky, isn't it? Go on.
Yellow lanyard.
You choose.
Yeah, yellow lanyard guy.
Yellow.
In the middle.
This is one of the weird. I give you a very specific type of car. What do you buy? I want you to imagine it's the late 2000s. The financial crash means that you cannot buy the convertible sports car of your dreams. You must buy one of those folding metal C+C convertibles.
Oh, God.
The ones that the hatchbacks were turned into. What is your choice and why?
They were a fad, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I didn't notice that they disappeared up until about 3 years ago. And then I asked a guy who specialises in repairing car hoods, cabriolets, and he went, because they all leak and you can't stop them from leaking. And I went, really? Well, even like really high-end ones, went, they all leak. You cannot stop it. So I said, I was going to buy my mum and dad an EOS. And he went, don't.
Halt.
He actually pointed and said, don't.
What was the Focus
CC? CC.
I once saw, or just the mention of it and the memory of it made TV's Chris Harris exceedingly angry. Just mentioning it. And then there was, I'm sure, Autocar once tested the Focus CC against the Volkswagen EOS, and the whole review was basically they're both dismal shite. And then I think they gave it to the Ford as the victory of the double test because it had better on-limit handling or something. You just went, this is irrelevant. They're just awful. So what would you have?
Now, the Renault Wind.
Does that count?
Well, it's got a hardtop, hasn't it? Wasn't the Renault Wind a hardtop?
Yes, it was, because it did the...
It's not a hatchback. You're completely correct there.
So, not a hatchback,
so that's bobbins.
Weird fact about the Renault Wind, it was developed by Renault Sport.
Who?
Renault Stout.
Spowet.
Yeah, I guess
every
they
time
were
I
busy.
see a Renault Wind, which is approximately once every 3 years,
Yeah.
I have to sing the Patrick Swayze song, She's Like the Wind. And I point at it as it goes by. It works well.
There was a Renault version. There was a Renault Megane, though, wasn't there? Renault Megane.
Yes.
Merde Pamplemousse, something.
Yeah. Yes. So you have.
The door handles are too low. Have you ever noticed on that car? The door handles are too low down the door. It looks inconvenient. And they did a special edition that was sort of the colour of off milk. So not that.
Volvo were contenders.
Oh, the C70.
Yes.
Now,
which I think looked cool.
Okay.
And you could get it in that nice colour, that burnt orangey.
Yeah,
I think.
I'd probably go that. Or
I do that because it has a nice interior, and you wouldn't expect to buy that car and drive it hard, doing any helmsmanship down B roads because you get some wobble on that. I think. Whereas the EOS, I think the EOS looked pretty cool. but I think it was disappointing. But that was around the era when people bought convertible diesels, just so they could smell their emissions a bit more. It completely envelops you when you're in traffic.
I've just thought, though, maybe because it might actually be all right to drive. Oh, hatchback, not hatchback-based. Shit, I was going to say BMW 4 Series.
Well, pre-4 Series, they did the 3.
Was it 3? A 3?
Yeah, they did a 3.
God, I'm getting confused.
Yeah, it was a 3.
Anyway, but it's not hatchback-based, so I can't have it. But then the Volvo's not really hatchback.
I don't know the rules anymore. What are the rules?
I'm just going to fake my own death and leave the country. It's the easiest way.
You're going to Carlos Ghosn this one, are you?
Yes, exactly. Get me a flute case. Not flute, like...
Get me a flute case.
Okay, so we go unconvincingly big flutes.
That's Richard's
What's in there?
big
Massive
demand.
flute,
Get me the flute case.
Do we have another question? Oh, a hand went up very quickly there and is still up. That gentleman there.
Hi, guys. I work in construction. We use a lot of diesel and petrol-powered equipment, diggers and whacker plates, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which often means there's various cans of fuel on site, and, of course, they're not marked, and we're not sure what's in what. A particular favourite of mine, 2 identical brand-new 10-litre cans, one full of diesel, one full of petrol, which resulted in a rather awkward phone call to the hire company.
Oh, shit.
When we put 10 litres of petrol in their diesel digger.
Oh, no.
So my question to you is, have you ever failed to correctly sniff petrol?
Well, I've misfueled, if that's what you mean. I actually did it on the way to an MOT. Which I can safely tell you is a terrible, terrible idea.
Did the tester give you an epic fail?
No, I still passed, but anyway.
Because a working engine isn't part of the MOT.
It was back in the day, Rich, when I had 2 Jag XJ40 4-litre Sovereigns. And the worst of the 2 needed another MOT. So I booked it in for the MOT, accidentally put, I think, about 8 litres of diesel in before I realised what the hell I was doing. Quickly then topped it up with a load of petrol. I just sort of clicked it back, and the person in the kiosk went, I sort of went, can I put some more in of another type? And they went, yeah. I'm not moving it, I'm just putting it, I just put a load of super in. And then before I struck the car up, I phoned my brother and went, Greg, I've put approximately 8 litres of diesel in, but I've mixed it with approximately 40 litres of super unleaded. He just went, you're a prick. I went, do you think it'll damage it? And he went, who gives a shit? Just try it. And so I started it and I drove it. The car had no performance issues whatsoever, but I've never seen so much smoke in my life. I look like Uncle Buck. So I took the long way to the MOT station, which involved the A1, the 4-lane part, the big bit, and I did about 100 miles an hour for 5 minutes. Because I thought, I can't think of another way to try and burn this off. Quickly, Muttley, do something. And I took it to the fuel station, the MOT station, and let it idle outside. And it was still just like fucking, looked like an 80s music video outside. And the MOT guy went, is that yours? And I went, yeah. And I just came clean with him. I went, look, it doesn't normally do this. I've just misfueled it, and I'm a bit stressed out. And he went, yeah, no problem. And he just passed it.
But you had to do an emissions test.
Yeah.
Did he just, on the form, he just put it to diesel? That way he just went through, right?
He just passed me, and I'd never been there before.
Did he not actually look at the car then? He just went...
He did look at the car. No, he checked all the other things.
Oh, okay.
He believed me
that
I'd misfueled it, and I actually had so.
Okay.
So that's my misfueling. Oh, and a friend of mine had a motorbike that was 2-stroke once, and ran out of fuel, rummaged around in his nan's garage and found some 2-stroke chainsaw oil, and just basically put more oil in than fuel.
Oh, God.
The bike sort of ran, and then it ceased after about 3 miles. Because he just couldn't be asked to go and get a gallon of petrol like a complete flute.
I'm going to touch wood here and not try to be too smug, but I've never misfueled. However, when we were making the earlier series of the Grand Tour, and while testing the McLaren 720S, I think, at the Grand Tour test track, we also suffered from poor can management. And one of the team, when attempting to top up the multi-hundreds of thousands of pounds brand new McLaren supercar with delicious petrol, accidentally filled it with a whole can full of premium water.
Why are people not labelling these bastard cans?
It's astonishingly shit can management.
If any Germans are listening to this, they're just going, yep. And that's why you're terrible as a country.
We always knew it about you people.
Oh, my gosh.
Do we have another question? Oh, there's a chap down the front here.
Looking very comfortable on these sofas,
Yeah.
by the way. Yeah, front row gets Chesterfields. It's pretty sweet.
I've got a modern German daily driver and an old British 70s classic vehicle.
70s?
Yes, 70s. And until I had listened to your podcast, I hadn't realised that they were connected. One of them trombones around with a DSG gearbox, and the other one is a Morris Marina. So trombones around just generally. So I thought maybe I should start trying to collect trombone cars, and wondered if you could suggest any more vehicles that possess a trombone nature.
Oh, that's a really good question. A really trombone car. There isn't a DSG German or a Morris Marina, would it be? Yeah.
That's a good question, because I don't...
It's very good.
I'm trying to think what else...
The 2CV trombone's a little bit
Does it?
on the overrun.
Oh, okay.
You have to sort of do a police spec and leave it in a lower gear than you're comfortable with, and then come off the throttle. But it does
They love
do
doing
it.
that, don't they, the police?
It does. Trying to think if there was
Any suggestions from the audience of a good trombone? Austin Healey Sprite.
Good one.
a good trombone. There's a few the very early British motorcycles that race at Goodwood.
Yeah.
And they have normally a megaphone exhaust. They trombone like hell. Got a motorcycle license?
I do, yeah.
Oh, well,
there you go.
You need to get yourself maybe a British 1950s bike with a megaphone exhaust, not strictly legal for road use, but hey, who gives a shit because it won't need an MOT.
I
One of those.
Trombone Museum is brewing.
A trombone museum.
Do we have another question? Oh, a hand went up very quickly there. Chap in a cap.
Is there any cars that sound like a slide whistle?
Where's there was? Oh, sorry, James. Yeah, chap in the cap there.
Is it possible to not laugh if someone slide whistled at you? You know those ones that mimic like a duck sound or something?
Oh, yeah. No, I thought you meant the sort of...
Yeah, just those.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
I don't know. Let's get some...
We've never brought one to a live show.
No, well, yeah, okay. Sorry. You have a question?
And to the gentleman at the front, by Yamaha trombone as well.
Oh, because they make musical instruments.
Oh, yeah, an actual Yamaha trombone.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. There you go. He's just going to take up the trombone just for shit.
You can let trombones define your life, and everyone around you will be going, we're a bit worried about him now. He's got too trombone.
So, guys, you've been eyeing up a particular car for a while. You've glanced at the auto traders and the other car websites, and you finally get to drive your car that you've been desiring for a while, but it's ever so disappointing. What is it?
Oh.
Ooh. What, as in, has this ever happened to us?
Yes, as in you've been really... So mine was an F-type manual.
Was the gearbox that crap?
Yeah, awful. And in fact, I shouldn't be surprised because the XE manual gearbox was awful, and an F-Pace I own manual was awful as well.
A manual F-Pace?
Yeah, at launch model, they came out with a 2-litre diesel manual. I like manual gearboxes. I drive Caterhams and other things.
You want to get a Caterham Auto, they're much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. It's only a 3-speed, but, it's fine. Gosh.
There have been cars, And it's one of those things where I'll remember in about an hour's time and it'll be really annoying.
Yeah.
Won't be any use for you guys.
I mean, I thought your review, Johnny, of the Honda EMY1 was particularly dispiriting. But
Well, that car's shit. That's the problem
Yeah.
with that car.
I also
and it's-
own one of them.
It was blatantly a phoned-in Honda, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, all manufacturers go through low points, but the EMY1 was...
Oh, that's just reminded me. Someone here tonight has got a Honda Odyssey in the car park.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that you, sir? That is a handsome car.
Yes.
Love it.
Finger pistols at you.
Just an aside, obviously, because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm Honda people now, so I can appreciate a good Honda.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a full sort of, oh, I've made a terrible mistake. Right. The
That was
mistake,
quick.
the mistake came in a different form for that, which will be revealed one day. But
Do you know, I'm going to say something controversial. I remember the launch of the Focus RS Mark 1.
yes,
Everyone raved about it, and I did not see it.
yeah,
Drove it, and it drove diagonally under acceleration everywhere.
Yes.
And I was like, this gets boring after about half an hour.
yeah.
And I preferred the non-RS Mark 1 Focus because also the
Yeah.
interior of the first gen Focus RS is one of the chavviest interiors I've ever sat in.
gonna
It
say-
was so horribly blue that I couldn't bear it, and I thought and now they're like 50 grand.
I know. Yeah, I didn't
just-
totally warm to that car. It sort of had this. I know what you mean. That thing where it was a bit sort of.
It was like just
car
a
equivalent.
plain Mark 1 Focus is so
Yeah.
good, like a 1.8 Z-Tech 3-door, lovely, sweet car.
It just always felt like the Mark 1 RS just was constantly shouting "Geezer!" in your
Yeah,
face, and it was
yeah.
a bit exhausting after.
It's like people that shout "oi oi" when you're on holiday.
Yeah.
And after about half an hour, that's going to involve punches, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
It just is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You say that one more time, oi oi, I will fucking bury you. Yeah.
A gentleman there in the white shirt whose hand went up like lightning, but lightning that goes up rather than down.
Yes, okay.
See what I mean,
Yes,
don't you?
yes.
So, hello. Today I saw a Toyota Celica GT4 Carlos Sainz edition, but it was extremely algal on a Birmingham council estate.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, hang on, sorry. There's a lot of information to take in here.
Did you do
Let
a
me
pin?
just go-
Did you do a
okay.
pin drop that you can send to me?
So I was I was at Villa Park today for a work conference and going through the back roads into Birmingham because the sat nav took us because they closed off one of the junctions for roadworks and was going round just through some random street and there was a Subaru Impreza algal, there was a blob eye, and there was a Celica GT4 Carlos Sainz edition that was also algal.
Oh my gosh,
So
algal.
it took a good couple of minutes to stare at it as it was all gridlocked anyway. My question is, what is the most unexpected algal car you've ever seen, barring your barn finds? Like, you've just seen a car and you thought, how the hell is that algal in that state? That
Unexpected algal.
I saw a Bentley Arnage on a trailer on the M5.
Oh, yeah, you
And-
told me about this.
It's from a distance you're going, oh, British Racing Green. But no, it was silver and algal as fuck. And I was a bit like, how did someone let that get into that state? I mean, presuming because it was on a trailer, I sort of thought, well, hopefully it's going to be rescued and tidied up because it looked, it didn't seem underneath the thick layer of organic matter. It didn't seem too bad. But yeah, that was quite surprising.
Two things. First thing, most algal car I've seen is I've seen a 6-year-old Astra that looked like it had been planted and then dug back up again. And I was thinking, what circumstances? How can you actually germinate that much algae in the 6 years of ownership of this car? It was remarkable. It was remarkable. But the second thing is this Carlos Sainz edition Celica, I've just realised, if it was owned by a Celica lady, which, let's face it, it ought to be, surely it would be the Carla Sainz edition. Maybe Carla Sainz is a lesser-known rally helmswoman.
Nothing to do with the Spanish World Rally Championship.
No, it's got nothing to do with it.
An amazing Celica lady.
Yeah, Carla Sainz.
Carla Sainz.
I need to know where that car is, please. But yeah, I see quite a few algal cars shopping supermarket car parks.
Yeah.
And all that's clean is the windscreen. So it's obviously screen wash, dab, 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 screen wash, and nothing else is looked after. It's just really weird. But it comes into the same category for me as people, and this happens a lot in winter, driving along on the motorway and you overtake a car quite slowly because you're doing, 72 on the cruise control and they're doing 68. And you look in and all the windows are totally steamed up, like they're in a sauna, apart from a tiny little circle next to their head. And you're like, you can't see anything. Have you not thought that you need to piss around with a control?
Well, I have a theory about this. It's people who don't know how to work the aircon or heating and ventilation system.
They've got it on recirc.
My wife's a bit like that, particularly because I know this is a rare situation because of my job, but if I have a borrowed car in and we're driving along and she will suddenly start jabbing at the heating and ventilation controls like she's in the final 10 seconds of a Crystal Maze game.
Because there's a bald guy on the back seat playing a mouth organ.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, I must get him out of there. But I always have to try not to sound patronising, but I just try and go, what do you want to do? She'll usually go, it's too blowy. And we have to go through the thing. But yeah, I don't think she can't be asked to figure out what a new car system is. So she'll just start pushing buttons and things like that. And it drives me to distraction.
When I see a car totally steamed up, I want to be a bit Alan Partridge, when he shouts about the fog lights.
Your rear fogs
I just want to go, just put all your windows down for 1 minute, just to clear it all. There's probably...
Turn on the...
No. Please, come on. Please, no. I got on a big advisory on my Boxster, actually, going off piece slightly. They said it's in the garage for some work, and they said, your AC condensers and stuff and your radiators are all ruined. And it was on.
You went good.
It was on the quote, and I just went, well, you can take that off the quote. Won't be needing any of that shit because I've got a convertible.
That's true. Actually, I have no idea if the aircon in my Beat works because it's a convertible.
Aircon.
Never tried it
on a 660cc engine.
Well, exactly.
That's like you carrying around a 25-kilo dumbbell in your pocket just for fun. Nobody would do that.
Just going to carry a couple of those water things they put on top of the coolers in offices.
Just
fun. Yeah, no, I've never used it. Probably never will. You'd be proud of me in that respect.
I am really proud of you, Rich.
Well, that's probably enough from us because we've all got homes to go to. But thank you ever so much for coming out tonight. Thank you to everyone from Morgan for having us here again. It's been fabulous. If they'll have us back a third time, unlikely, I know.
Hey, we'll take it.
We'll make it happen.
If we're allowed.
But for now, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. See you again soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.